The Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile, is a World Bank program domiciled in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology in Ekiti State. The project development objective is to improve secondary education opportunities among adolescents in targeted areas in the benefiting states. Ekiti is the only benefiting state in the southern part of Nigeria, while others are in the north, namely Borno, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, and Plateau states. The program was launched and funds disbursed to the school-based management committees of all the secondary schools in the state at a ceremony in Agile Ekiti during the administration of His Excellency Dr. John Gaudi Fayemi.
Development partners will not come to states and just bring support. There are criteria, eligibility that states have to meet. And anytime they come to Ekiti State is one of the states that meet all the criteria set out by development partners. I just want to congratulate Ministry of Education, my sister, Momi Aderiye, for this laudable initiative that you are ensuring the compliance with Component 1 of Agile. And I also want to encourage the SBMC that you should please use the funds for the purpose for which it is intended.
We are the only state that have been able to utilize our money judiciously without any question or any query from the state. When we talk about Agile, a lot of people have spoken about it, so don't let me go back.
Only 7 states are participating in this project in the nation. Ekiti State is the only southern state among the 7 states. All the other states are in the north. But because of the activities and the passion of His Excellency and Her Excellency for Education, they were able to table the reasons why Ekiti State should partake in this project. And nobody argues with the results, because their activities are so convincing, the outcomes are so visible, that nobody can ignore it. So that is why we are here gathered. I don't have to tell us all, because we all know it, all the achievements in education sector, the renovations they have done, and all other things that they have done to ensure that our children are in school. To keep them in school, free education is free and compulsory in Ekiti State. Free part, so many other interventions were done. But we know that Ekiti State might not be that big, but we have many schools. 911 primary schools, 200 secondary schools, 3 special schools. Ekiti State is benefiting from this project. The project attracts $500 million, and Ekiti State is benefiting $25 million from it.
This project, Agile, will ensure that some of the key advocacy asks of the Keep Girls in School initiative are addressed and scaled up significantly. Today is only one part. We are only here to launch one part of the Agile project. Through the project coordinator and the education commissioner, we have heard that there are 3 main components to Agile. Taking on a holistic level, this project, I expect, will provide a productive learning environment for children, particularly girls. It will provide a cadre of committed educators and counselors who can support students at vulnerable moments. It can ensure the availability of critical resources in schools, such as water and toilet facilities. This project will also support indigent female students and will also help address the issue of menstrual hygiene products and the difficulties that poor girls face.
Special advisor to the Ekiti State Governor on Education, Dr. Olabimpe Aderiye, alludes to the reason behind Ekiti's inclusion in the program.
Looking at the Agile project, you'll find out that there are just 7 states, and the 6 of them are in the north. Basically, it was crafted for the northern states because of the insecurity that we all are aware is happening because of the kidnapping cases and things. But Ekiti State had this favor because of the passion and the commitment of the government to free and compulsory education. And when we are talking about free and compulsory education, the passion and the commitment and the strategies that the governor, especially the former governor, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi and Lubisi Fayemi, they had some strategies and activities. Fortunately, the new governor was SSG, as at that time, the secretary to the state government, so he was part of it. They had many projects like they keep girls in schools. They had Operation Renovate all schools, all buildings, dilapidated buildings, pulling down ones that can be injurious to people, keeping children safe. And you have observed that they embarked on fencing many schools at that time. So they were not thinking about getting children to school alone. They were talking about the security aspect. They were talking about the equipping them, the skills and all the things that they are supposed to do, encouraging them to enroll, doing different kinds of things. Even on the first day of school, the governor and his officers, they will go to schools to ensure that the children are enrolled. So all these things impressed the people who are handling this project when they came over. You remember that the former governor was the chairman of the Governors Forum, and Her Excellency was the chairperson of the wife of the Governors Forum. So when the World Bank people came over here at that time to discuss the matter with them, because at the time people were scared that girls that were going to school because of the Chibok girls that happened and some other schools, nobody wanted to, especially in the north at that time, they were scared of sending their children to school. So they came to the governor to discuss with him so that he will be able to discuss with his colleagues to encourage parents to still take their children back, and there will be safety for them. So in the process of the discussion and Her Excellency's discussion with them, in the interaction, they discovered that the passion and the activities that they are already embarking on here are part of the thing. In fact, they have the same things. They are so similar. The activities are very similar because Agile project is talking about renovation of schools, talking about wash facilities, talking about digital programs. So it's the same thing. That was one of the reasons why they think that Ekiti State should be part and parcel of the project.
The project aims to achieve its objective by addressing the critical binding constraints that adolescent girls face that limit their ability to complete their secondary education. The project will use a comprehensive approach to address these constraints by using the school, the family, and the community platforms to empower adolescent girls. The approach will consist of interventions aimed at keeping girls in school and provide opportunities for them to acquire critical life skills, thus empowering them to enroll, stay, and be retained in school. Adolescent girls in Ekiti and generally are faced with some challenges, which include gender-based violence, female genital mutilation, rape, early and unwarranted pregnancy, among others. The project consists of 3 main components. Component 1 is designed to address supply-side constraints to girls' education. Specifically, the component will support the construction of new classrooms, the rehabilitation of dilapidated classrooms and facilities, as well as the provision of teaching and learning materials to make schools functional, safe, inclusive, and conducive to teaching and learning. It is also to accommodate an increase in girls' enrollment and girls' transition to secondary schools. Component 2 of the program aims to galvanize support for girls' education and empowerment among families, communities, and schools by addressing demand-side constraints to girls' participation in education. Specifically, this component will be achieved through communications, campaigns, engagement with traditional rulers, and advocacy. Component 3 of the Agile program will support efforts to strengthen the institutional capacity building of the federal and state governments to support girls' education and empowerment. The Ekiti State coordinator of the project, Mrs. Oluwayemisi Alokon, expatiates on this.
When we are talking about Agile, we'll be talking of having very good environment for the school. And when we even move around the schools, the guests in the school can even testify to that. Right now, in all the public secondary schools, we are having very good classroom environment. Some schools even purchase what we call TLM, teaching learning materials, like tables, chairs, textbooks. We have schools that even renovated their library buildings. We have schools that renovated their hostels for the schools that are having boarding system, like St. Louis, Ikere, they are having boarding system there. Some people like that, they make use of that opportunity to take care of their needs in the school. So the state really benefited from this program, and the program is even continuous because the program is a 5 years program.
The project was executed across the 203 secondary schools in Ekiti State. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Folakemi Olomojobi, sheds light on this.
Agile Projects is primarily emphasizing what the vision of a state government is and has been. You recall that we celebrate ourselves as a state that prides itself in the area of education, acquisition and use of education. And so Agile Project is poised to increase girl-child enrollment and completion of schools and ensure that adolescent boys and girls have access to education. So it is very pivotal to our development as a state, because if our young people are not adequately educated, then we may be planning for extinction. So I think that this project has come at an appropriate time to strengthen what we have planned to do. If you look at Mr. Governor's 6-point agenda, human capital development is pivotal, and Agile Project is ensuring that at secondary school level, we have the right enrollment and completion of secondary school education.
The Ekiti Agile Project has engaged relevant stakeholders in the campaign for girls' education and empowerment. Also, the use of the media has been optimized for the campaign in Ekiti State. Towards ensuring that communities take ownership of the project, the wife of the Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Olayemi Abiodun Ibanji, had meetings with stakeholders where she interacted with them in an engaging manner.
Ekiti State, as we have been told, sir, is the only southern state in Nigeria that is benefiting from this intervention. The objective of this program includes provision of access to safe learning spaces through the renovation of infrastructures, construction of WASH, that's acronym WASH, WASH stands for water, sanitation and hygiene facilities where they are lacking, equipping the adolescents with life and digital skills. We believe that through the intervention of you, our royal fathers, school-age children, especially our girls that out of school will return to complete their studies. One of the reasons why insecurity issues crept into school may be because school-age children are mostly adolescents who are vulnerable, most especially our girls. There are challenges in keeping our adolescent children, especially the girls in school. Prominent among these challenges are issues of poverty, sexual violence, kidnapping, teenage pregnancy, family responsibilities, and the likes, which make it difficult for girls to focus on their education. The Agile Project is one of the interventions deployed to ensure that adolescent attendance, retention, and completion of school program is guaranteed. I join all of you, principals and teachers, to kindly support this initiative and maximize its capacity to inform, educate, mentor, and prevent adverse occurrences in and around our schools.
Within my short time of being on board, I've met with nearly all stakeholders in education on this project. I've met with teachers, principals, the KBSs, the OBAs, press, and I'm more or less the face of Agile in Ekiti State. Going by my background, first and foremost, I grew up on the street of Agile Ekiti. This Ekiti born and bred lady as a young girl. I schooled here in Ekiti, and I also, apart from that, my line as I'm an educationist by training. I'm a university lecturer, so I'm him. I'm the face of Agile as it were, and my engagement so far with stakeholders, for instance, OBAs, teachers, principals, have been very encouraging. They are all of them. They are alive to this project. Everybody is warm towards this project. For instance, the KBSs, in the course of my interaction with them, told us some of the challenges in their communities, which Agile is already addressing. Same thing, principals and teachers, even parents. Through this project, we've been able to let them know that they also have roles to play. I need parents to sit down with their children, to have interface with them about their challenges in school and how this could be addressed. So my engagement with stakeholders so far on this project have been very, profiting, have been very worthwhile.
The subcomponent 2B of the program is digital literacy, and this was why the Agile project selected ICT teachers for training sessions where they were told to domicile the knowledge acquired by training their students.
Reduce your digital footprint by deleting old versions, and it can help protect you from future breaches. Abandoned accounts provide an open gate to invaders, as older accounts are more likely.
Your own blog, social media as a job hunting tool is very important.
And you're not sure of the drive the person wants to use to copy that information.
In the secondary schools visited, some of the teachers and students described the intervention as awesome, thanking the World Bank for the assistance.
Now, with the intervention of Agile project, in fact, we appreciate them because the place has been renewed. The leaking roof has been mended, the ceiling has been replaced, both a classroom and the corridor with the surroundings. Then the flooring, new flooring was done. The doors were replaced, windows were replaced. Then the whole place makes learning conducive for the student.
They did a lot of work, the Agile, but mostly they renovate the buildings, then the walkway for the students, for these especially these people with disability that's on wheelchairs. Formerly they crawl on the floor. You cannot except at times we carry them because of this it's not accessible for them to the classrooms. But when you look at this place now, this place is more accessible for the wheelchairs, for those that look for crutches, and some other things like students like that. So they have done a lot of work, not innovation again, but they did the road linking to the each of the classrooms in the school. So there is a lot of work. They have done a lot.
We are very grateful to God Almighty and Agile for this laudable project. In fact, we thank them very much because this programs is very, very useful for the student. You can see all the school hall, the school library and the toilet, one for male and other one for the female. And this, we have been suffering for this for long times. So for this money that is being given to us, that has been utilized judiciously for the development of the school and the students themselves. So we are very grateful for this, and it's very useful for us.
The importance of toilet to female children are many. For instance, it will save them from contracting diseases, and then it will enable the pupils to stay indoor, because before they used to go into the bush and defecate. Now that Agile deemed it fit to give us beauty, we really appreciate them. So by then, even when the learning is going on, the students will feel confident in the class, even the teachers. So we really give kudos even to the Ekiti State government to deem it fit to do all these things for all the schools in Ekiti State. In fact, it's a welcome development.
I have to commend the state government and the World Bank for this tangible project, because it has helped the school a lot. One of the problems we are facing is the toilet facilities and inadequate chairs local for the students. And when the project was initiated, we were called for seminar in which we were told to mention the areas of needs of the school. And I indicated inadequate chairs and toilets for both male and female students. Looking at what the benefit we can derive from this particular project, it has helped the female student a lot.
Because this particular building has been dilapidated seriously, especially the admin and the 3 classrooms. But with the help of the Agile, we were able to renovate and do so many things concerning the improvement of the whole block. You know, it's a block with 3 classrooms and 2 offices.
Social education, because it will give them conducive learning environment. When students feel at ease, especially when they want to eat themselves, they will not be able to go to the bush. When they go to the bush, they could contact snake bite or intruders in the bush. So by the time government has done this, and through the World Assisted Project, we are grateful to God, we are grateful to the World Bank Assisted Project, and we are equally grateful to the state government.
For this initiative, I so much love it because this place is so conducive for the students, for their learning, and it's even good.
We thank the Agile for making this project for us, and this will make a good impact in the life of the students.
I really appreciate what Agile has did to us. They provide library for us. In fact, I really appreciate it. All the students were very happy for the library that the Agile provide for us. May God help them in Jesus' name.
We really appreciate the Agile and the Ekiti State for the new projects, because before we can never sit here confidently, but for the help of Agile and the Ekiti State, we are enjoying the new projects. I pray may God bless Agile and Ekiti State.
I feel great about the project they did because it will allow students to learn more and more, because
the toilets we have in our school, there is no water, but when this one was made, it's very good, it's okay.
The Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, also described the intervention as heartwarming, commending the implementation and appreciated the partnership.
I'm aware that they've just completed the short-term grant projects across all the schools in the states. And the report I'm getting from the ministry is that it sits down well with the people of Ekiti State, and the school-based management committee did a lot of work in ensuring compliance with quality, and we hope that the second tranche, which is the large grant to all the schools, will commence soon, because the World Bank has given no objection for that program. That one is more comprehensive than the short grants projects. So I'm excited.
Thank our partner, World Bank, for this study project in our dear state, for their commitment toward this program. It has done a whole lot to help our education system, especially to keep our guests in school. I really want to thank them. And since we all know that education is a capital-intensive project, we want to say that we still forward for more engagement in the nearest future.
I was in Abuja and I had the meeting with the World Bank country director and his team, and the other areas where they are already collaborating with the state government, not only in education, we are doing that in health and other social investment programs. Because we have demonstrated fidelity to standard, I have full confidence that World Bank will continue to collaborate with the state government.